Hello, Miss Karen. How are you?
Hello. Okay.
Hello
Glad you're
there.
here. Hi.
Yeah. Hi, how are you all?
Okay, I'm not feeling that great, so I'm not coming on video, but I wanted to listen in.
What
Okay.
happened? What happened, Miss Leslie?
What's that?
What happened? Why are you not feeling well?
I'm going through sort of a detox program.
Oh,
So,
Ah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
oh. Miss Karen is not here? She's here.
Oh.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Um.
How's
oh,
our friend Brian?
Um. He seems to be doing better. He's in uh like a therapy place now. Rehabilitation and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but like last night, he responded to a post that I put. So anyway,
Okay,
he,
good,
he's doing better.
great.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try doing this again.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome to Karen Rice's Family Zoom Station, episode 10. Homeschooling today, being a positive influence on kids. During the first part of this 1-hour show, I share tips and strategies that create harmony with kids. Then we open things up for Q&A and discussion. Last week's Zoom show ended with sharing the desire that kids be positively influenced. Kids who are positively influenced demonstrate the following positive results and more. I'm not saying that they are perfect or that kids demonstrate these qualities 100% of the time, but these are the qualities and abilities that I have witnessed. They are considerate, they are competent, they know what's good for them and tend to avoid what is not. They know their strengths and weaknesses and how to make the best of them all. They know how to get what they need, but not at the expense of others. They are unafraid to be honest, willing to take chances. They feel good about themselves. They are strong, healthy, wholesome. They have strong positive beliefs in their self-worth. They make wise decisions. They cooperate. They actively respect the needs of others, but not at the expense of themselves. These are some of the reasons to make sure that kids are treated harmoniously. A good starting point for positively affecting kids is being able to get yourself into a positive frame of mind. It's hard to be positive with kids when you are not feeling positive. So the first things I'm going to cover today are ways to get yourself into a positive frame of mind. I have found it very helpful and very effective to start my day with practices that get me into that frame of mind. It's worth it to get up early enough to be able to do this. It helps the whole day go more smoothly. When I was raising children, I would wake up at 3 a.m., meditate for an hour, go back to sleep, and then get up at 6 a.m. to do my part and getting family ready to go out the door, to work, to school. So if you want to, you can have a meditation plan. I've learned since those days that even 15 minutes of quieting my mind is more consistently effective than my 1 hour of meditation. These days, I'm finding that focusing my mind on the positive practices I have adopted is even more effective than quieting my mind for 15 minutes, though my practices usually take about 30 minutes. One powerful positive practice is to think of what I'm glad about in my life, or what I appreciate, or what I'm thankful for. In my mind, I say what I'm glad about, and I often picture it. The goal of all these practices is getting into alignment with my inner being, soul, spirit, whatever term you use and prefer. Living my life feeling that connection and receiving guidance from there is such a satisfying way to live. Create a plan for calm. Having a plan that helps you calm down when you're bothered by something and that helps you stay calm can also help you maintain a positive frame of mind. Discover what helps you keep calm, then do those things. When you want to calm down, take some slow, deep breaths. That's how we breathe when we are calm, so breathing that way can help us calm down. Ground yourself, center yourself. Do something that satisfies you. Read for a while, listen to music, take a shower, meditate, work out, go work in your shop, do something that makes you feel better. Remember that stressing about things is not going to improve them. When you are not calm, if possible, do not be around your kids until you have calmed down. It's good if there is someone else who is happy to give attention to the kids. Ask for help from your family, friends, neighbors. My pattern interrupt. Here is a strategy that I've found very helpful, and you might too. Sometimes I use it to keep myself in a positive frame of mind. Sometimes I use it to get into a positive frame of mind. Like this morning, I became aware that I was using a phrase that could be used in other ways. The primary way I've used it recently is to give my mind something to focus on that I like, believe in, and it keeps my mind from following thought paths that I do not like. Some people might call it an affirmation or even a mantra. I call it my pattern interrupt because when my inner guidance pointed it out to me, pattern interrupt is what it was called. I call it my pattern interrupt because in neuro-linguistic programming, a pattern interrupt is something you say to interrupt someone else's pattern. You might ask them a question that is totally off the subject they are on. My pattern interrupt does that for me, and it could do that for you. First, choose a positive phrase, word, sentence, mantra. Remember to choose something you like and or believe in. Then keep your mind focused on that by repeating it silently in your mind, though you could say it aloud if you prefer. Then, for me, it vanishes when I'm feeling good again. Although the above strategies are effective at reducing stress and overwhelm, the following strategy can prevent much of your stress and overwhelm from being created, especially when it comes to your kids. The one rule. Once you are convinced that the one rule is as strong as I know it to be, then you then know that you can rely on it to get you back to harmony with the kids in your life. The one rule is so powerful, just using it can help you get into harmony. Of course, you have to use it. You can't just know about it and not use it. However, I just thought that knowing about it is like planting a seed. Just knowing about it is the seed that changes how things were. You now know that something exists that might help you create harmony with or between your kids, if it's used. Most likely, eventually, you'll use it. Someday, you'll have to give it a try. If you take it as far as telling your kids about it, they are very likely to use it. At least that has been my experience with kids. In fact, that might be a good strategy, telling your kids about the one rule and how it works, and telling them that you want to use it, but might forget or not be able to. So you hope they'll help you out with this, remembering and actually putting it to use. Homeschooling was going to be a primary topic today, but in order to be able to positively influence your kids educationally, it's good for you to be in a positive frame of mind. So sharing suggestions to help you that way came first. Even though school may be finished for the school year, there is no reason for education to end, ever. Isn't becoming a lifelong learner one of the stated goals of education? That's what I learned as a teacher in the public school system. The most wholesome education is based on interest. So as your kid's educational helper, I just created that term instead of teacher. I think it's more accurate for what I believe education to be. Knowing what they are interested in is an excellent place to start. So even though we won't go deeply into this during today's slideshow, to me, the most excellent education puts the student at the center of their education. The teacher or educational helper helps them follow their interests when they want help. Does the parent make suggestions and share new experiences? I'd say certainly, if they're inspired to. But even so, I'd also say let it be up to the kids what they decide to explore and experience. Oh, just follow the one rule. Let that be your guide in areas where the harmonious path is not clear. Thanks for being here. Now it's time for Q&A and discussion. Okay. Hi.
Hi. If someone comes in on that, they're going to wonder, what's this one rule?
I know. Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, I'm late. I missed the slides.
Well, I will email them to Batool and she can share them with you. Also, yeah, I'm wondering if I actually did email them. I was going to send out last week's, but I've been...
No, I haven't received it.
Okay. What about you, Leslie? Did I send them to you?
Did you send me what?
The slides?
No, from last week. No.
All right.
I didn't get them from last week.
I'll send both of those out
Okay, great.
before I do anything else after this show.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you
That
so
was
much. It was
very
very
nice.
nice.
It's
Yeah,
all
it
worked
was.
perfectly.
And the points which you highlighted were also very nice, talking with kids and having peace and harmony exercises, which you just suggested over here, like taking a deep breath and relaxing yourself. I think this is very necessary. As a parent, if a parent is frustrated and, gives panic all the time, it create panic. So how can the child be calm? So it is
Right.
very, very necessary for the parents to settle them calmly in any kind of situation, because children anyways are looking at you, how
Yes.
you deal with a situation. So it can be any way. For example, these days, this COVID-19 and whatever the frustration is going on, so we should try to calm ourselves as much as possible, engage the kids with activities at home, yeah, whatever. I believe, like, have a quality time and show some optimistic thing at this time as well, that look, if we are not even going out, but we're spending time together, at least we are safe at home, we are together, some
Right.
exercise together, which you just suggested over here, like doing yoga and all. But one thing, like, suppose if a child, sometimes there are certain kids, especially those, I believe, who need your special needs students, like you can say, or kids, sometimes it becomes very important to take them out, and how to deal like at this situation, the mother, how should she deal with this thing? What do you think, Miss Karen?
Um, well, I agree that it's important for them to go out if that's what they want to do, and most children do. Um, certainly, there's. Well, I'm not sure. See, we didn't have. We had a stay-at-home request, but not. As far as I know, anyway, we weren't like you had to stay home no matter what, unless there was an emergency. So I don't know what the situation is where you are, if it would be possible just to go out nearby. I know there were people here that went out a lot. Uh, all the bicycles got sold, so even they were teaching little kids out riding bikes. People were out taking walks in parks, and so I don't know if that's a possibility where you are. Is it?
I'd like to add a little bit to what you just said. I mean,
Yeah.
Batool's question and what you were just implying to that. I have two kids of my own. One is 4-year-old and the other is 3-year-old. And I know that keeping them 24 hours in the house, 7 days a week is just too much. So regardless of the fact that the country has been going through lockdowns and now recently they imposed a smart lockdown, but I have taken the opportunity to take both my kids out, even if it's just for a little stroll, a little breather outside,
Yeah.
because I really think it's extremely important for the children's uh, physical development, to give them some room, give them
Yes.
some space, even if it's just a walk or if it's just running around on the grass.
Yes.
So my perspective is that do it in a safe way. Obviously, safety is the number one priority. So once you feel it's safe, you've got your SOPs in place, all the precautionary measures have been taken. I do take time out to take my kids out, even if it's just for 30 minutes. I do that almost every other day when I feel it's
That's
good.
good. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the sun is good for them.
Yes.
And the fresh air, the movement, everything. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
At
Yeah.
That's
this
absolutely
time,
right.
yeah, at this time, Miss Karen, when everyone is talking about COVID all the time, and we are even trying to warn our kids also with many things to be like, sometimes don't you think so? It gets too much for a child to understand at this age, especially like Mr. Yasir just said, like a 3-year-old boy, 4-year-old boy. How should we actually explain them this situation?
Oh dear.
Because you are experienced, so that's why I'm asking you. Like the little ones, because to adults it's easy. For example, my son, he's going to be 18, so he can understand, but a child sometimes they want to play, they like all the time, why, what is this, why always washing our hands with sanitizers, why all the time, can't we touch this, can't we touch that? Because if you uh, like children enjoy playing with sand and making sand castles and these types of fun water activities, which is actually good for them.
yes. Yes, I
So
agree.
yeah, so
I mean,
right now,
have any of you ever seen something? It was called The Odyssey of Life.
no,
It
I haven't.
okay.
No, no,
No, you haven't either. Okay.
no.
This was maybe back in the maybe early 2000s or something. Anyway, there's a public broadcasting station here in the United States, and they made a series called The Odyssey of Life. And the Odyssey of Life #3 showed all the microbes that live on us, in us, are all over everything. I so I would think that there is no need for small children to know about what's going on, I would say.
This is what my point is. Like
Yes.
this this is what my point is, that do you think it's really very necessary? Because I am
No.
uh, reading that on Facebook as well, and in many platforms, that mothers, they are even telling their kids, I don't know how to control them, they are playing, they are touching this thing. Sometimes it gets too much for a child to
This
understand.
this yes, and um anyway, this is
Because
I
one part, see,
don't
is
think
that
it's
children,
going to be a problem any more than life has always had things going on in it. It's part of it.
exactly, but like this type of situation, we don't know how long it is going to go on. So what do you think, as like a teacher, we should explain the kids? Sometimes when they just today when I was teaching my school kids, they just told me, Miss, we are missing our school desperately. I felt so bad. Even I myself am missing, and I'm teaching from home, but I miss that physical thing, you touching,
Right.
talking, they writing on the whiteboard, talking to them, those things. So basically, so I just told them, and hopefully everything will be fine. But this thing will remain in our mind for a little bit long time, I believe. All because even though if this corona finishes, like it said, like 14 days, it keeps on transmitting to the other person. So we don't know how long all this is going to go on. So kids, they are desperately missing their school, their friends, playing, so many things, which is, they really need love right now. They really need care. So even the families, they have lost their jobs, financially they are suffering. In many parts, whether the country is progressive, whether it's underdeveloped country, or whether it's moving towards the progress, everyone around globally, they are suffering. So it is not easy, I believe, for a parent also to explain the son or like a daughter that right now this is the budget. These things, talking to the children does not, for me, I don't know, but I don't think so it's good speaking to the little children about budget and money thing and all. It's too young, their age. So what do you think, Miss Karen? How should we deal with these types of situations? How should we create harmony in ourselves so that we can, talk to the kids? What should we do?
Well, I would think if you just wait, if the kids have questions, then just give them a simple answer.
What simple answer, Miss Lizzie?
Mom, why do we wash hands? And you
Mhm.
say, that's to prevent getting sick, prevent us from getting sick. If we pick up germs, we might get sick. So
And
just
not talking to the friends, not touching them, no playing like that, no, these games, little things, even though they're children, but we have to be careful to tell them. So even we adults are still not ready for many things, I believe. Sometimes, unintentionally you can shake a hand with someone or not even, or touch, whatever it is, we are trying to avoid. But for the little ones, what do you think? What other activities can be done at home or shown that their mind gets divert with it? That they don't think about this corona thing or COVID thing, and they be, happy at home right now, spending time.
yeah, I mean, when I grew up, it was polio. And, we were told, don't get too hot, you might get polio. And
Yeah.
two of my mother's friends did get polio, and they were
Oh,
wheelchair bound as a result. So there's always been something around, I guess. But I don't remember my mother really going into fear tactics or preventing us from playing with other children or anything. I don't know. I guess just distraction. Say, well, this time we're going to do things differently or something.
yeah, this time this is different because this is contagious. The problem is that, and dealing with the learning. Do you think so that children are able to carry on with their progress in studies? And normally I don't think so. As an educator, that we should deal the kids in a different way.
No, it's a totally different situation. I'm sure
Exactly.
it affects everything. Yeah.
I
That
think
how
now might be a good time to help kids do the things that they like to do. I mean,
good
most
idea.
parents know what their children like. And for example, if you know your child likes a lot of physical activity, you can set up things in your house if you have to stay in, kind of like so
Pillow
that
fight.
what?
Pillow
No,
fight.
no, I was
I
thinking
got,
of
I got
obstacle
a,
courses.
I've got
Whereas,
a little basketball hoop, just a little kid's version here
oh
inside
yeah, I
my living
see.
room.
Nice.
Yeah,
So me and my kids, we just play in there. It does
yeah, for
get boring
sure.
at times too, but sometimes, you can just get some physical activity going on and the children are
My
around.
son likes Nerf guns. Oh my God, it's unbelievable.
That's
Nerf gun, yeah.
My grandsons liked that too when they were small.
Oh, they go running around the house with those things. Oh my God.
Right.
Well, as a parent, I've noticed that children sometimes enjoy doing things as well. For example, when they see us getting in the car, getting out of the car and using a sanitizer, you know, they enjoy doing those activities. They're like, hey dad, give me the sanitizer. I wanna clean my hands, you know, give it to me.
So,
And yeah, obviously they're aware of the fact that we've been telling them that, you know, there's this virus out there, there's a disease, you might get sick, so make sure you wash your hands. It's important you wash your hands before you touch your face, before you eat anything, before you walk into the house. Make sure you know, you don't touch anything unless you've washed your hands. Um, it's like kids get into, I mean, even if they may not know all the details and they don't even have to, but they kind of come into that routine, come into that habit. And I think for us, it's just good to reinforce these positive habits into the kids. So regardless of them knowing exactly what the I mean, they know what the outcomes may be, but they're still too young to know exactly what we're dealing with. So I don't think they need to. But as educationists, as educators, it's our job. As parents, it's our job to try and, you know, follow the SOPs and all the important safety measures. Take all those measures so that our kids and all the kids around us, they are aware of, you know, everybody's on the same page. You know, they're doing this for health reasons. You know.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
So can kids still play soccer? Or is the ball then contaminated?
Oh.
How far do we go on this one?
Well, it's, you can always wash the ball with soap after every game. Yeah, I mean, it's just a little too much, actually. I mean, how much can one do? I mean, I'm just thinking, you know, fruits
Yeah.
we buy, fruits and vegetables, right? So, I mean, before it was just washing them with water. It's still washing them with water. I've read it on the WHO's website. But again, some people say that you need to wash it with soap, or at least use soapy water, because they've been lying on the shelves for a while, and you know, you never know who's touched it or who's just passed by it or whatever. So, I mean, how much can you do? It's just, you try your
Right.
best, and that's all you can. Just manage it as much as possible.
Yeah. Miss Karen, what do you think? What topic should be discussed more with the children? Like, what should the parents discuss more when they are 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old? What is the most important topic do you think should be discussed with the kids on and off?
I think the most important thing is feeling good about who we are, is getting along well with the people around us, is figuring out what we like, what we don't like, and going for what we like, and doing our best not to have to be involved in what we don't like.
That's nice. And what activities can be done with the kids for the anger management thing, Miss Karen? For the little ones, especially when their temper is very high, or sometimes, you know, kids, they start throwing things on the ground, and these types of things, they show, you know, restlessness. So what do you think at that time? How should we deal?
It's actually, I mean, if you can get to them before they get to that stage, that's the thing with a lot of parents I've seen, where they are not paying attention to their child, like their child is trying to get their attention. And if one, maybe this is a good time for this, that because the parents are restricted also in what they're doing, maybe they can be encouraged to pay attention to your child as soon as they ask, even if it's just, I'll be right with you, you know, just just a moment, I have to finish this. I'll be right with you. And hopefully that will be okay with the child and they can wait. You know, if they're really young, like 2 maybe, they might not be able to wait. But if you pay attention to them and try and help them as an example of how to be a human being interacting in a good way with other people. So if you pay attention to them and try to help them get or do whatever it is that they want, instead of oppose them, they won't get so frustrated that they have to have a tantrum. They just won't. This I know. So really, I mean, once they're in it, I would say, if there's any way to comfort them, that's would be my inclination, to go to them and say, oh, you know, I'm so sorry, I forgot to pay attention. What do you need? What do you want? How can I help you? You know, come here, my little one, and soothe them as much as possible, if they've already gotten into that state. Prevention is good if people have that in mind. Just that little thing of when your child is calling out to you or wanting your attention, pulling on your clothes or whatever, that you don't ignore it, that you give that attention. Anyway, that's...
Yeah, true. I agree. That's nice. Thank you so much, Miss Carol.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
really
that's
very
nice.
Yeah, that's really very nice.
Yes, because one of the things I think when children get into tantrums is that they have observed that the tantrum will get your attention one way or another. They may not like how they get the attention, but it will get your attention more than, you know, mommy, or pulling on the clothes or something. And so they accelerate, and the longer this situation goes on where they don't get the attention when they're asking, the more quickly they accelerate into the tantrum to call your attention that they need something. And they may not get what they need still, but they will usually get your attention. It may not be, as I said, in a way the child would like, but it still is your energy and your attention that gets focused on them. I think if parents could have in mind that they want to help their children to be able to have things go in a way that they like, that would be really helpful and a really good example of how, I mean, because the parents certainly want the kids to do that with them, so they need to do it first because they are the examples. So they need to show first how it's done, how you relate in a harmonious way with another person, and the kids will pick it up and they'll just do it. That's how they will relate to the parents and to others.
There's another question, Ms. Karen, in my mind. I don't
Yes.
know whether it is related to somehow with this, but have you experienced any parents who over pamper their child even, in front of others? And even though, like as a teacher, if I find some problem and I want to, you know, resolve it, but I am seeing the problem is not with the child, the problem is with the parent. They are over pampering the child, which is really affecting the child's, mental health. And like he does not want to hear no or anything, and they just take part of it. So, like, do you really think that these things create a lot of complication in raising the child, and later on the consequences is dangerous for the child to face when he actually sees the real world? Because everyone won't be pampering him. Everyone, there might be someone who's going to, tell him that hey, these are your negative points. Sorry, bro, you, like, someone told you wrong. Something like, because I believe parents themselves should show the picture to the child in a positive way, before others should. But sometimes, I don't know about there, but over here in Pakistan, this issue is really what I face a lot. The parents, they don't want to hear anything against the child. There are
Parents
certain
what?
parents, like, they don't want to hear anything against. It's like child's mistake, no, or their mistakes. Because, like, honestly, 80% is not the child's mistake, it's the parent's mistake. But they don't accept it, they don't want to hear it. So how can we, address this issue in a way that parents should try to hear? What, like, strategy can be implemented?
So how do you define pampering?
Pampering means, suppose if a child comes late, or let's say if a child has not done the homework, like the mother calls and, give excuses. Suppose, let's say, if my child, though I'm not like that type of a parent, I don't do that, but I'm just giving an example. Suppose if
Okay.
my child has not done anything, and I'm talking to his teacher, giving an excuse on his behalf, trying to defend him. Once I believe it will be acceptable, but second, third, and so on, so on, it sometimes create, like, they don't want the child to learn the responsibility. Because suppose if we ask them to give something in time, or do some assignment or task in time, which is for the betterment, because later on in real life also responsibilities are there. Not as a student, and maybe as a husband, maybe whatever the job designation will be, but responsibilities are there. A person cannot run from his or her responsibilities. To some extent, parents can defend, but what about their actual life? Then they are spoiled. And once they, move into the practical life, then they are just like babies. Like,
Hmm.
it's hard to explain them, or if some little thing happens, then their mental thing, like, suicides I have seen committing people. I like read about it, that the girl left and the boy was unable and he committed suicide, or the boy would desperately want that thing and he did not get, so he did that. Whatever hurting these things, do you think so happen
Wow.
all because of these? Like, how to cater this? Is there any way that we can talk to the parents earlier before it get to this stage? Like, how to
Yeah,
deal with it?
it's really hard to talk to parents
Exactly,
individually
Miss Leslie. Exactly. This is what I
because
was saying.
they get defensive. But
True, true, true,
when
true.
we
I
worked
do
with
agree.
emotionally disturbed children, what we did
Mm-hmm.
was we got all the parents came in, and then
Mm.
someone gave a little talk. You know, I
So
mean,
they are
some
not taking
people,
on themselves.
yeah, some people are more receptive than others. And obviously, if their child is in full-time mental institution since 3 years old, there's some major dynamics in the family going on. So, you know, it's only so much you can do. Yeah. But just to create
Yeah,
as warm an atmosphere as you can. And let them feel comfortable so they're not defensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could, do you have parent teacher meetings?
Yes, we do have.
Okay. If I'm thinking, if at the parent teacher meeting, you could express your concern for, you could say, I've seen these kinds of results, and maybe with the parent, find a solution, a harmonious solution, something that they feel good about and you feel good about. And of course, the child is going to have to feel good about it too, because they're part of the mix. And actually, I think if children and parents know and practice finding agreement about things like the daily things, like homework, like what's for dinner, or what we're going to do next, or things like that, just practice. If it becomes a habit, then when those later things come up, the responsible have to deal with things in life, they will have, this is a really good foundation for anything that has to do with interacting with other people. So I don't know, it works best when the people involved really want to do it. And that's why, because parents love their children, if they find something that they think might be helpful, then they're willing to try it. And so maybe coming from there, like, like, I know you love your child and you want to help them and protect them, but I'm concerned that there may be these negative results. I'm wondering if maybe we can find some way to deal with this that works well for you, for your child, and for the responsibilities that come from me, giving assignments or whatever. If there's a way to do it so that parents don't feel threatened, they don't feel that they're doing a bad job, because parents want to feel they're doing a good job. And so if there's a way to introduce this that helps them keep that good feeling inside of them, but maybe make a little shift, maybe expand their thinking a little. Because I know that if they feel threatened, they're gonna most likely resist it, and in whatever ways they do, just not go along with it. So I think if you want them to go along with it, it needs to be something that they find agreeable.
Yeah, that's a good
Hmm.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Though, you know, sometimes I believe that instead of a student, a parent needs, you know, to come to school. First of all, we need
Well,
to.
that's a possibility.
Sometimes, you know, I believe like parents really need schooling in a different way, parenting schooling, you know, like sessions and all, they must attend because there are nowadays, I'm happy and glad to see that there are awareness programs you are doing, you are educating many who really wants to hear and wants to improve, join and listen and all. But still, we really need to spread this message everywhere it's possible that the world has changed, the time has changed. So the parents themselves also have to change accordingly to understand the child and their needs. It's always lovely to attend your session, Miss Karen. You know, I always get positive energies from you. So
Good.
nice, and
That's
yeah, I really enjoy, and I like was waiting for this for the upcoming session. And I believe next will be homeschooling you're talking about.
yes. I especially wanted two of the people that have been on before. Brian, that was his master's thesis was on homeschooling, and I would love to hear more from him. Because my background is Montessori, and then I worked in the public school for a number of years too. So, and the other person, she did what's called unschooling with all of her children, and that is really something that is a very appealing thing to me. That because in a way, Montessori is very similar to that in terms of the child is the center of their education, and you follow the interests of the child. That what they're interested in is what they get to learn and where the focus goes. Were you going to say something, Leslie?
Oh no, Jim just walked by.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's no problem. It just lit up, and so anyway. Okay. um, my dream, I guess, one of my dreams is that education will be dependent upon the interests of the student, and that the people who are involved in the education help them follow those interests.
Right, true.
I don't know if you've come across, there's a school on back east. It was started in, I think, in the 60s, like maybe 68 or something. And it's called Sudbury Valley School. And now apparently there are many schools set up like that in the world. I don't know how many. I haven't researched this. But in Sudbury Valley, the students are not required to do any particular thing, except they have certain rules in terms of getting along. But they can spend their time at the school how they like. And I think it's a boarding school. Now, it may be a day school also. But anyway, like there was a story of one boy who spent years fishing because they have a small pond or a lake or something there on the property. And that's what he did. And he learned everything about fishing. And then one day he was walking past the computer lab and he got fascinated by that, and he turned all this focused, the ability to focus and learn something thoroughly that he'd focused on fishing, he then turned it to computers. The other thing is that all the kids learn to read, and they don't, some of them might have instruction, but all of them learn to read. It just happens naturally because of what they're interested in. So, and there was one other story there of some kids wanted to learn basic math, so they went to one of the adults and said they wanted to, and in 2 weeks they had learned everything that it takes the whole elementary school curriculum to teach them. They just got it, you know.
Yes,
So
nice thought.
that's what interest does. Interest, it's, you can go so far with interest. You can get into excellence with interest.
True. True.
Yeah.
I do agree. It's very nice. Very nice.
Well, it's almost time for this show to end.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and looking forward for more sessions to learn from you. And
my pleasure. Truly.
And Miss Leslie, Miss Karen, I have also invited you this Saturday. I'll send you the details on the email.
Okay.
I hope you both will be a part of it. It's going to be my first session internationally online.
Nice.
Planning more to come. These types of same issues related to COVID and learning and all we're going to discuss. Like my motive is how we can, join the like minds together with the same thoughts.
I love it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So me and Mr. Yasser, we both are working on this, and I hope we reach to our goal. At least together we can make a difference. Like you said, that.
Very nice.
Yeah. Very good, Batool.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank
I
you.
hope you have a great week, and we'll see you Saturday.
Okay. Thank you, Karen.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye-bye,
everybody.
Yasser.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Leslie.
Thank
Goodbye,
you for
Karen.
being part of it.
No problem. Pleasure.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Oh, stop.